Good morning on this rainy Saturday morning. Today I thought it would be fun to make a notebook since we can't go outside and play in our Gothic garden. And I thought it would be fun to make a notebook where you don't have to sew a text block together. So this one's for you, my non-sewing friends. Get your butts to the dollar store, get a bunch of composition books. While you're there, if you don't already have some, get some glue and paint and some tissue paper because you're going to need a bunch of that too. Look at that. You can see me. You can see what I'm doing. I can see you. That's a great angle. And yes, this is actually coffee. It's not wine or anything fun. It's still the morning here, I think. Yes, I have 10 more minutes. Okie dokie. I have 5 of these notebooks. I don't think I want to use all 5. I feel like I might use 3, maybe 4, but definitely not 5. I think 5 would be too thick. I thought originally I was just going to take and glue the covers to the covers, but then you have this hard part in between. So I feel like I want to cut these back covers off. They are sewn onto the text block, but just barely. So I think what I want to do is cut them very close to the edge here. So you need a ruler and a knife for this part. If you are a child, you should probably get an adult to help you with this. So I can see how close I'm getting to this spine. I'm going to flip the book over and then use my ruler so that I have a straight edge, and I want to cut as close to here as I can get. Keep this for later because you never know when you might need a hard board. Now we are going to remove the front cover of the next book. I just realized if I'm adding another one, I'm probably going to have to cut this off, but I don't want to take off everything because there's a bit of tape here that the book is stitched to, so I want that to be left. I'll think about that in a second. Let's keep removing covers. So that's our front one. Now we need to remove the back cover as well. Whoa, no. Oh, I cut that one a little too close, so be careful. You don't want to mess up the stitches. So I just tied a square knot at the end here to hold that together a little bit better. I'm going to remove the cover, front cover of the next book. That's actually a pretty decent sized book, like with 3 of them together. I think I'm going to leave it at that for now and then save these in case something happens with this and I need to swap one of them out. I don't really want to use a heavy glue in between them because I feel like a heavy glue, it's going to bunch up and bulge the pages. What I want to do is just hold them together lightly hold them together so then I can I can't talk today. Then I can reinforce the spine and have that a little bit more solid. Something in between so that you're not gluing to the book underneath. And then carefully line them up. And then we are going to glue on this last one. Sometimes it helps if you stick your tongue out when you're doing this. Might be one of those people. Okay, pages are together. We're a little bit wonky at the bottom, but we did our best. Oh my goodness, it's raining hard enough. It's hitting the windows in the basement. I do want to reinforce this a little bit. I might want to glue the spine a little bit more. I was thinking that you could also use some fabric across here and some white glue. We are going to do some gluing. grab yourself a piece of material. We want about that much. I need to see what I'm doing better. Clamps. You should know these are not from the dollar store. So that goes there. Don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but basically I'm putting a little piece of fabric across here and I'm going to glue it down just so the books are glued together. Okie doke. All right. I'm literally using my finger. You just want to smush it on there. And if you don't smush down these edges too, or cut them off or something, they will dry hard and stick up, and it's really annoying. And now we wait. This needs to dry for a little bit. Oh, the glue is all over my hands. And now we're going to let our glue dry so we have a little bit of time, not a crazy amount of time, like you could leave this for a couple hours if you really want to. I'm going to check on it in a little bit, but in the meantime, I am going to go eat some food and then come back and we'll see how this is doing at that point. Okie doke, got our spine glued and we're not exactly like perfectly aligned here from when I glued the pages together, but that is okay. I am not really worried about that. I would like to reinforce the cover boards a little bit. So remember those boards that we cut off? I'm going to use those just to make this a little bit thicker so that when I'm gluing things on it, it doesn't get all like warped and stuff because of the glue that I'm applying to it. Boo. Don't be aggressive, don't be aggressive. Glue sticks do stick pretty fast though when you put things together with them. Sometimes with a white glue you have a little bit of a leeway time. With these you have less time. So I kind of want to reinforce this a little bit more or differently. So we're gonna go back to one of the cover boards that we pulled off and I'm gonna see if I can create like a rounded spine piece from this board to go on the end here. I have a couple options on how I can decorate my cover here. Do you remember our little clay friends from the Crystal Skull video? I was thinking that I could put a couple on here. Or I have some little snakes. So basically, we're going to put some things on here and then we're going to put tissue paper over top of it. So these are just going to create like a little bit of a design underneath. And then you're going to add the tissue paper and then you're going to paint it and it'll look cool. You will want some wax paper or parchment paper because we're about to apply a lot of glue to this, and you probably don't want to get your pages stuck together. Prepare some tissue paper by crumpling it up like that. All you're doing is creating this wrinkly texture. And then we are going to apply some glue to this. You don't need a fancy brush like this. You could use a sponge, you could use just a regular paintbrush, an old paintbrush, you could use a foam brush, whatever. You just need to get all of the glue down on here, and you again want to protect your pages. If you want to prevent things from drying too fast, just work in stages. Protect your pages, work in stages. That just came off. That's great. Okay. I wondered if that would happen. But it's okay. And then you want to press your paper down. And now that you're completely covered in glue and your cover looks basically how you kind of want it to look, we're going to let this dry. And then we'll come back to it later and finish the backside and the spine, basically using the same technique. What you might want to do right now is if you're using a brush and you want to use your brush again to do more of this, don't let your glue dry on it. So you want to take your brush and just rinse it out in warm water until all of the glue is gone, and then you can reuse your brush, which is great because we don't want to throw these out every time we glue something together, because that would be very wasteful. And then we'll come back and do the other part once this has been allowed to once you've had a coffee or something else, maybe to eat because you've been crafting for a while and your brain just can't brain anymore. Then we'll come back and finish the rest of it. I will see you then. I'm going to try to apply more tissue paper on the edges and the back without messing up the front. And I'm realizing now I probably should have started with the back and then did the front afterwards. But here we are. Our glue has dried on our book and our little embellishments and all the tissue paper. So the next step I'm going to do is apply some gesso just to the cover to create a base for the paint to stick to on top. Now we need to decide what color we are going to paint the cover. Probably a brown because it's leather. And then I'll probably do some like dark washes over top of it. And maybe do some lettering over top of these, a little more darker as well. But I think I'm going to start with some kind of brown. Oh yeah, I think that's nice. Oh, you can even see the little snake scales through. That's cool. I love this technique because it looks so creepy. I'm trying to get rid of all the white spots. And the more white spots I fill, the more white spots I see. And because of the way that the tissue paper gets like folded and crinkled, every now and then you just kind of spot one that's you missed. Tucked in a little fold. I think that's pretty good now. Now we are at the point where we have painted the cover of the book brown and it is looking fabulous. In order to create a little bit of depth in around some of the letterings and everything, I am going to do a wash of a black shade over top of this just to create a little bit of depth. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Whenever I do things like this, I am always worried that I'm going to mess it up or it would look really good and then suddenly it's not going to look good. That's what I think. So I'm really hoping when I do this that it still looks pretty awesome, but it's hard to see just the lettering here. I mean, you can see it. It's still a little damp on the back side. But I want to try to make that pop a little bit more. So I'm going to do a wash around it and see if that helps. I'm not sure if that did anything. Just going to do a little dry brushing. See what that does. That's better. That's what I wanted to do. Well, that looks freaking fantastic. Bronze. Now I'm going to let it dry, and then I just want to put some cardstock on the inside of the covers just to cover it up and make it look a little more finished on the inside, and then that'll be it. Once you have your end pages in, this notebook is complete. Now all you have to do is take all of the amazing photos of your final craft project and post them on all social medias and be darn proud of yourself because you, my friend, just made a cool notebook and you should brag about that. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Pam and this is Total Pamarchy, the craft channel with a little anarchy. Until next time, bye. Ooh, spooky.